Hello and welcome to the Saturday edition of Big Scott 35, where I like just to sit back, chat about the week there was, the week there will be, and what's going on now, and things going on in my hobby world, how I like to do things. Really not going to show anything today, just going to chat, about things in the hobby. I like to do this because this is just my word, not my Sunday chat with do roundtable discussions. I like to get other opinions uh, and have voices that we can chat about things, including in the chat. But so the week there was Sunday, did a chat with Mike out on the farm. Just going over some stuff in the hobby, some things that I missed. It was kind of just thrown together. We were, getting ready for ball games and everything. But I really wanted to have that chat with him about some of that stuff, just to have a discussion. Really didn't get a lot of feedback on that one. I thought I would because we hit on some topics like the mega store, the kind of some stuff with fanatics and collecting. Gotta get some morning juice here. In our trip to the Hall of Fame. And then it wasn't a complete hour because we needed to get back into we were mirroring where we were at. They don't have cable out there. They do have internet. And I was mirroring do they even have internet? I don't even think they have internet out there. We were mirroring my phone off of their DVR to the TV to watch the baseball games and to watch some TV along the way. So I thought that was, so we had to come up with our noggins so that way we wouldn't miss games. Let's see. Did have a chat with my dad. I didn't get back into town till Sunday morning. It was a real early trip. Only had a couple hours of sleep. I ended up coming back in and going back to bed for a few hours. And we just decided we'll wait and till this week for a World Series chat. Let's see. Wednesday showed off some Myco LLC purchases. Quite a few. This week I didn't buy anything. I don't think I've bought anything since then. I have bought, I think the only thing I bought this week was off of Tops.com. A Tops Living set. They had Vientos from the Mets, his rookie card on there. So I went ahead and purchased that. And I debated that, but it's a Mets rookie, so yeah, I get that. And I love to get those graded in SGC. They just look beautiful in the SGC holders. Those living set ones and the in the game art ones. Art cards look really, really good in SGC holder slabs, in my opinion. But more about that for today's stuff. Did do a Nerdy Thursday. Showed off some pickups, some from my weekend up in the northern Pennsylvania, New York area. At a great awesome video game store, or just nerd state. It was awesome. I'll be talking more about that here in a moment. And then that leads to today. And what I want to talk about is my goals. I like to go over my goals. So still haven't bought anything off of eBay in a couple of months now. I didn't even buy cards from the shops up at there were some big shops. Didn't have a lot of time to go through boxes and stuff. I did look at some vintage because I could tell you when you go up to the Hall of Fame, you get in that mindset of you're in a vintage, you're in a vintage mindset, or just you get caught up in the history of it. And I mean, I'm, leaning. My needle has, my needle's been here, just barely in the vintage space. It's moved just a little bit more, where I'm thinking about more than just Roberto Clemente, right? Um, so it just basic rookie cards, of some other players, or key cards of some players that I really like. Uh, I didn't, I don't buy vintage rookies because that's a lot of money, but I'll buy some key cards that might not be the rookie card, or if I get a rookie, it's going to be a very low grade just to have it, but at least a good specimen of it. Uh, so I have a couple more which are catchers. I've ignited that switch again for me catchers here in this last few months. Uh, so that's been, you know, that's in my forefront of my mind, but still taking time off, relaxing, from buying off of the internet. Uh, I don't think there's really another card show before the end of the year. There's one in Raleigh that's pretty big, and I actually there's one here in Winston. So I'll probably make it to, now that I think about it, one more show before the end of the year. But I'm going to do my $200 limit. Most likely, unless there is a card there that I will never see again, like a Pete Alonso clear rookie card, or the red, something very low numbered that I'll never come across. Then it might be something different. But other than that, that's like very unlikely. I'll just probably take $200, walk around, see if there's like one auto that fits my collection that I really want in that $200 range, or a couple. And then if not, I'll start going through boxes and, getting some $10 cards, and like I did with the last one, and got a pretty good auto. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, and came back with cash on that show. So, and it's going to be a lot of the same dealers. Be more toys though, which makes me happy. Which leads me to my next discussion. So Thursday, I dropped a little bomb. I'm going to start another channel. I'll still have my Nerdy Thursdays for a little while. I'll probably do them on both channels, and also trying to, until my traffic gets a little bit on the other channel, for video games and just my other stuff. Yes, Ed, Mr. Westergriff, we nerd out for everything. So I know when I say Nerdy Thursday, baseball cards, anything you collect, a nerdism is something that you obsess over, that you are. You don't have to be a Mr. Know-it-all in that field, but just something that just gets your blood pumping, that you're a little bit more than the normal guy, person, female, whatever, enjoys it. And that's how I am with video games, Star Wars, and cards, particularly baseball cards. I do the wrestling, and I do Star Wars and some other not. I'm really starting to really get more into non-sports cards. I know that seems to be a niche right now for some people in the community. I don't know why it's all of a sudden a new thing. To some of us, that's kind of been a thing. Um, I'm glad that more people are looking into the history cards and people have changed the world cards. That was big in the turn of the century. Uh, it's awesome, but they also make the type of cards now. Uh, so just remember that as well. So I'm happy that people are looking at that type of stuff. It's awesome. And I've been really enjoy watching that content from people. It's been really cool to see. And I'm not talking about like TV shows or movies. I'm talking about like literally like president's cards and other people that have really really made additions in our culture and in the way we do things in our lives, and also just basic everyday things like birds and flags and uh, yeah, I just been enjoying that. It's just again, I cannot collect everything. I have a budget. I am not a seller, uh, even though I do sell. But my selling is very, very minute. It is a pin drop into the money I spend on the spending side. Uh, I've gotten away from buying boxes and boxes and boxes. I told somebody asked me why I went to a pack a day, explaining to Mike O's dad, and I was like, because I would sit there on a day off and open, $1,000 worth of product, retail product at that. Uh, if I couldn't get the hobby boxes, I'm very much a at the moment person. So I would go to a retail store and I would hit the Walmart, the Target, back in the day at Toys R Us, uh, go by Walgreens, not buy up everything, but I would buy $100 worth of stuff at every place, and I would go home and I would have $500-600 worth of product plus maybe a hobby box or two, and I would sit there and open it all up. Then I'm off the next day, and I'm like, man, I have nothing to open. Stacks of cards around me, and wouldn't be happy with that, and go back out and buy more. Some would call that an addiction. I just call that idiocy, because once I realized what I was doing and not accomplishing anything, and I'm sitting here going, man, I'd rather buy this David Wright, because I was right at the beginning of the Pete Alonso thing. Even with Pete Alonso, I'd rather buy that card than, and I wasn't chasing anything. I like a lot more. I love baseball. I love all the players, so it was cool to hit cards of other players and get autographs from other players that I usually don't chase, or numbered cards or whatever, inserts. I just was enjoying it, and I enjoyed it way too much. So once I realized what I was doing, I kind of stopped that. Now, do I still pick up? Yeah, I got a shelf full of blasters and all kinds of stuff. But, like yesterday, I stopped at a Walmart, just to let everybody know. Holiday was out on Tops.com. That seems like to be a fun product for people. It's not an expensive product. It is not one that sells very well unless you get some of the super short print stuff. But it's a fun product with all the different holiday insert, like different variants with candy canes and Santa Clauses and in the background and all that stuff. It's a fun product. That sold out really, really quick on Tops.com. Walmart has it. Uh, it's always been like a Walmart exclusive. I don't know if it is anymore. They've kind of done away with that type of thing. Uh, so I bought two boxes, value boxes there. I think it was $30 each. So it's still not a very expensive product. It's more than what it used to be, but still it's not break the bank. But that's the other thing. I kind of want to touch on this too, and I'll talk more about this tomorrow night. My God, this past week, Tops, slow down, spread it out. I understand that you're trying to capitalize on the World Series and the playoffs, but you came out with Tops high number, museum pre-order, holiday, and forgive me if I miss anything. It was one, Tops update was just a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And for me, like Star Wars, Tops Black, which I decided right now to pass on. I'm still thinking about it, and then I'm sure I'm decide I'll buy it, and then when I go back, it's not going to be there, and that's going to be just fine. At 119 for 5 cards and a sealed auto, I have to look at the checklist because for me in the Star Wars world to spend that much, and the Star Wars world is so huge because they can include books, cartoon. I don't know if they have artists in the, if it's just character driven autographs, then I might think about it. But when they start adding all this other stuff, man, I mean, just think about all the TV shows and movies they have now. I mean, sheesh. I mean, and then they use the cartoons and the video game characters. My last one was a video game character autograph. I don't care. I really don't, unless it's like one of the main ones. And I got one of the sisters that didn't have a big thing. I had to look it up to see who it was because it didn't even tell me who played the character in the back of the card. I had to look it up. I couldn't read the name. I love the sisters, and I have a couple of them up on my wall in 11 by 14s. But I'm not going to pay $119 to get an auto of one of the. And if you don't know, the Inquisitors, they hunt the Jedi after Order 66. I'm just, I wasn't very happy with that. So if you collect something like that, be careful what you're buying. Cards are beautiful. That's one of my favorite sets, that black chrome. I love it in every baseball. I really love those cards. But the autographs are so hard to hit worth any. You're gonna most likely hit a pitcher in a baseball, and I'm gonna get some the officer, and I don't mind hitting those in lower end boxes. I understand that, but when I buy that type of box, I want a character that's a name. I want one of the Jedi. I want a character that you recognize in a movie or TV show. Of course, you want one of the big names. I do like the voice actor. I do collect his stuff that voice acts the clones in different cards. I have his autographs several times on different stuff, just like collecting any baseball card. Because of clones, he does them all. But he's cheap. So it's not like breaking the bank to do that. But 119, yeah, that's not incredible amount of money. But I could probably 99% of the autos that come out of that, you could probably buy for 119. And the cards that I want, I can make my own box and probably get more than 5 cards in an auto for $119. I guess that's my point. So that's the type of thing I look at now. That's the world I live in. I have to watch my dollars, make sure they go to the right places. I want to do things. I am traveling more. I'm going out and seeing things that I've always wanted to do, but just always found a reason not to do instead of a reason to do. And now I'm just doing it, finding a way. I've talked about it. On my schedule next year is probably going back to the Hall of Fame with my dad in the spring. Going to, of course, going to Cleveland in July, August. I think it's, yeah. And then in the fall, going to Toronto. I would like to get back to the CSA next year in the fall. I missed it this year, all 3 shows. Up in Northern Virginia, the Chantilly show. I want to go to Canton next year. I want to go to the Hockey Hall of Fame next year. It's just things and other things like I'm driving up to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Might hit Gettysburg on the way back. Never done that, and that was a history. Civil War. I'm actually a huge Revolutionary War era person, and when it comes to history, but of course, growing up in Central Virginia around the Richmond area, huge Civil War buff. You pretty much are living on Civil War battlefields where we live at. My friends had mounds and trenches going through their yards that they couldn't touch because they're historical. So it's pretty crazy. When you think about it, it was no big deal to go in the woods and find a half buried cannon or something. That's just kind of area we were living in. So that's why I like that with the historical stuff. With baseball, I don't need to buy all that stuff, but man, do I love to learn about it. I watch Ken Burns every chance I get. Going to the Hall of Fame was damn near life-changing for me. Looking at the cards, that's why, some of the vintage channels I like to watch and entertaining to me because I like to see that stuff. I like to learn about that stuff. I like to see those because, like I said, I cannot collect everything. I rather collect the players that I've watched. I said it before when I went to the Hall of Fame, the area that I was most interested in and mostly really yanked at my heartstrings was the 70s and 80s area because that was my childhood. That's where I grew up. Those players really formed my baseball. Those stories. Walking in and seeing as soon as I walked in and saw the Gary Carter thing, it was kind of like Gary saying, "Thanks for coming, man." It was awesome. So I know I'm babbling. The other thing is it kind of upset some friends of mine are, on here's a question. Let me put this out here. Are we too worried about the financial side of our hobby? I know I talk about smart with my money, but that's a little bit different. Does people stop hobbying because of the prices? Because to me, the prices are coming down for most parts. Some of the name cards, name players, and super short prints are staying up. Rookies are stupid priced. I don't get that. I never will. That's a phenomenon in the last 5 years or so, 6 years. They're always going to be a little pricier at the beginning, but I know that the next year. But now the prices have really gone stupidly up. And I know people like to. I mean, we've all collected. I think it's not all. Most of us have collected cards going, man, I like this kid. I think he's going to do good. that's speculating. Guess what? You're speculating at that point. And we've all sat there 10 years later and going, man, was I wrong? But we didn't break the bank doing it. When we talk about doing that, it was, instead of buying those cards at $0.25 a piece, they were $1, $2. It's just, that's kind of funny. But is people down on the hobby right now? Because of pricing, are they getting? I mean, I know the question's always out there, and I've talked about the last. I kind of thought a lot of people, because they got, when the pricing dropped so hard where you couldn't buy a box, flip it, and make your money back, that you had to grind it out, and a lot of people left because it wasn't easy money anymore. And the people that are new to the hobby have been educated somewhat, either through their life experience or watching YouTube videos or talking to people at their LCS or something, learning. I've seen that drop out, but I was just kind of wondering how people's perspective of that is, because I'm drawn to the people that collect like me. I tend to talk to them more than that don't, but I still love talking to anybody that collects, because anybody collects like me some way, because they put cards in a box. That's somewhere along the line. But we tend to watch channels that we dislike and hate watch. It's kind of funny that we do that. I tend to do that, and I don't watch all the videos, but I'll tend to, when one piques my interest or whatever, I'm not subscribed. It's got to come up on my For You page or whatever. So, and my interests are all over the place. So I don't have just sports cards on my For You page. I'm all over the place. So just kind of wondering how everybody thinks about that. So there is a video that I'm interested in tomorrow that somebody brought to my, I think it's tomorrow that somebody brought to my attention. So we'll see. We might talk about it tomorrow night. But anyway, just going to talk about that, my goals, how I'm hobbying a little bit. I will be starting another channel. I'll be streaming video games, probably doing some, I've been getting a box every month, so that way I can actually play the games, show them a little bit, and talk about them. It's going to take a little bit more time and effort in editing, but I think I'm up for it. And if it gets to be too much, it'll be a dead channel. This is my first love. Don't worry, I'm not letting go of anything over here. Only thing that might go away is my Nerdy Thursday after a while. And, other than that, Sunday, talking with my pops on Monday, Wednesday pickups, and this Saturday chat. I don't see any of that stopping. My addiction, I think, is to YouTube and not to anything else. But there, I said it, and that's the first step to recovery. But if I had to say I had an addiction, of course, the way we are with cards is not healthy either, probably. But anyway, I could stop tomorrow if something else kind of came in to take its place that was more important to me. But with all that being said, I hope I made sense with this, and we'll talk about what's tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, my friend Yannick is going to be back on. He talked to me about the Hall of Fame before. We're going to talk about our experiences afterwards. Hopefully Mike will join us, and Nats Man. That'll be 9 p.m. Sunday night. I don't think the World Series is on. I can't remember. I had to look at the schedule. If it is, I'll have it on the side. We could talk about that as it's going on, and talk about the card world and some Hall of Fame stuff, and um, drop some questions. If y'all have questions or comments, please come and bring them. Um, and I will milk this Hall of Fame thing for everything you can give me. But loved it. I could talk about it now all the time. And like I said, I think I'm going back in the spring with my dad. He was supposed to go this time. Some things fell through, and I think he had some FOMO, especially after he saw how happy I was, and pictures, and yeah. So there you have it. So, and I think Wednesday will probably, I don't know what I'm going to show. I don't have much, but I'll have something to show. And let's see, I'm waiting on stuff from a couple of different grading companies, and I'm sending out something Monday to PSA. So I've decided to just send it myself. It's not much difference in sending it myself and paying somebody else. Yes, I can share in the shipping costs back, but now it's just me, and some of the stuff I'm sending is some nicer stuff and somebody else's stuff. So I don't want to have to ship it 2 extra times to and from. Just one time back, and that's it. So, and they're nervous. They've never done it before, so they're nervous. Rightfully so. I've yet to lose a card, but there's always a first time. So I'm excited about Sunday night, 9:00. See you there. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, see ya.